Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a mini cheesecake recipe. They're in individual little servings, like little cupcakes. This recipe is super easy. My family's been making it for many years. I don't know where it came from, but you will be able to find in the description the amounts for a single recipe. I'm going to be making a triple batch, but I'll share with you the amounts for one single batch. So you will need 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, and you want to let that come to room temperature. You're going to need cupcake liners. You do not want to use your silicone muffin tins or cupcake tins for this. Well, I guess they're not tin. The silicone ones, you don't want to use those. At least if you do use them, make sure you use a liner. And you'll see why with that later. You need 2 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of sugar. You need these Vanilla Wafers, or Nella Wafers is the name brand. You're going to need about 12 of these per batch. You need lemon juice. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and you need some sort of pie filling for the topping of your cheesecake, or maybe you want to drizzle it with chocolate, or whatever topping you want on your cheesecake. I like to use cherry. I am actually not going to be using this can of cherry. I'm going to make some homemade cherry pie filling to put on top. I have some cherries frozen from my cherry trees, and I will post a separate video at how to make that homemade cherry pie filling from the frozen cherries. But a can of something like that will work just fine too. I've done that many times before. So in review, 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, 2 eggs, approximately 12 vanilla wafers, some sort of topping for your little cheesecakes, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And let's get started. Okay, so first things first, you want to preheat your oven to 350. That's degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so first step, you're going to put 1 liner in each muffin tin. That's kind of an obvious step, but might as well share it. This is a great thing for kids to do. A couple things that they can do in this and really feel like they're a part of making these. So I actually have a little helper here now. She's going to help me get these little baking cups in. So here you can see I have 6 tins with the liners. And now next step is we're just going to take 1 of these vanilla wafers and put it in the bottom of each. That's more than 1. Sometimes they're tricky, right? Might need to check them. And that's going to become the bottom crust of your little cheesecake. So 1 in each muffin tin. So you can see I have 6 cookies here in the little muffin liners, and I have the flat side of the cookie down. They don't totally cover the bottom, and that's fine. But you don't want the curved side down, or you'll have less contact with the bottom, and this is supposed to be the little crust. Okay, so here's all my trays ready to go. I am using 2 silicone pans, but just putting the liners in them, that's just fine. And then this is just a regular tin one. And so we're all ready. I do try to use the cookies that are not broken, but if you happen to have, if you have to use 2 halves or, whatever, it's really not that big a deal. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our softened cream cheese, put it in a large mixing bowl, and we're going to beat it until it's as fluffy as it'll get. So for this step, I like to just use a regular old hand mixer and beat it up really well. You could use a stand mixer, whatever you'd like to do. I would just recommend not doing this by hand. Oh, and my oven is up to temperature. Okay, so there's my cream cheese beaten up about as fluffy as I can get it. Now we're going to add in the eggs, the lemon juice, and the sugar. Okay, there it all is, and I'm going to beat it up really well, and then I'll bring you back and show you. Okay, so I've been mixing it here, but I need to scrape down the sides and keep on mixing, so I need it really well incorporated and nice and smooth. So everything is well mixed, and now we're going to fill the muffin tins muffin cups, whatever it's the appropriate word. We're gonna fill them about 2/3 of the way. Doesn't have to be exactly precise 2/3, but that's what we're going for. So I'm gonna get these all filled up and then we'll be ready to pop them in the oven. So sometimes I will use an actual scooper to fill muffin tins. This is, I mean, it's kind of thick, but it's also kind of runny. I'm just using a smaller measuring spoon to fill these up. So there we go. I have one tray ready to go in. Let's try to clean this up a little here. Now these aren't going to rise like a cupcake would, and we don't want them to. I mean, they may puff up a little bit, but we actually want this little indent here, because when we put our pie filling, that'll kind of hold it on. So I'm going to put these in the oven. We're starting with 15 to 17 minutes at 350. So I have ended up with 4 extra little cheesecakes. So you may have a little extra batter, and what you could do is either just go back through and divide it up, or do an extra 1 or 2, just so you know that's possible. So I did a triple batch. I've got 4 extra. All right, so these are finished. I ended up doing the 17 minutes, and you can see that they have kind of a rounded appearance to the top of them now. And what I'm going to do is just leave them cool in the pan for a while, because we don't want any molten cheesecake experiences. So they're just going to cool like this for a little bit, and then we will remove them once they're more so cool to the touch. So these are now pretty cool, and I don't know if you can tell, but they're now more kind of flat across, and I can carefully remove them. There you go. It's a two-handed removal. You can kind of see here. And there's our cookie on the bottom. Now we're going to just let these cool down to room temperature. Then we're going to refrigerate them. And I will top them right before I'm going to use them. Now I'm going to make my homemade pie topping now. And if you would like to watch that video, I will link it here. So here they are, just cooling on the rack the rest of the way. Now, what you don't want to do, I sometimes with muffins will just kind of turn it upside down. Turn the tray upside down and just dump them out. You don't want to do that. Just very carefully lift them out from the edges of the wrapper. And then just let them cool all the way and then refrigerate. Okay, so here we have one of our mini cheesecakes. It's all chilled. It's ready to be topped. Here is the homemade cherry pie filling that I made to top these little cheesecakes with. Now, there's 2 ways to go about this. You could unwrap them and just kind of sit them on a platter and put the pie filling on top like that. Or you can leave the wrapper on and put the pie filling kind of inside here in this little lip that we have, just to try to keep it a little contained, and then your guest or your whoever will unwrap it themselves. So I'm just going to spoon a little cherry pie filling in here and on with the wrapper on. Now if you're going to take these somewhere, I recommend going the second route where you just leave the wrapper on, because it'll just kind of help keep everything together more with less mess. But if you're having a fancy, dinner party, maybe you want to, or maybe you're going to individually plate serve these. Maybe you want to do, just drizzle the pie filling over and kind of let it drape down the sides. Okay, so we're just going to take a spoonful here. It's still hot, but you would want it chilled. Just put that on. Doesn't that look good? So yummy. Looks fantastic. And one last thing, I just wanted to show you the bottom. You can see the cookie is a little crust. It doesn't cover the entire bottom, but it lifts right out of the wrapper. And it's super, super fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you try these. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon.